It's cotton picking time. Welcome to Freaky Friday.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's Cotton Bowl. We're going to pick it. It's bold predictions. It's the podcast daily. And
Got it.
All right, we're there. Cool. That's Bill Landis and Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward, and it has been a long week, a long month, and the game is finally here, Ohio State and Missouri. So we have a lot of time to come up with some bold P's, and let's get into it. Bill.
Oh boy, I'm first. Okay, I'm very much intrigued by the matchup between Luther Burden and Jordan Hancock. And it was interesting to me that Eli Drinkwitz in the head coach press conference on Thursday just kind of running through generalities about Ohio State, but he did make a point to mention that they are aware of Jordan Hancock and how he kind of brings the whole defense together and allows them to disguise things. He's obviously a dynamic player, and so is Luther Burden. So I think it's going to be really fun back and forth, but I do think that in that back and forth, Jordan Hancock will get a pick six.
Woo!
It's a tough matchup, right? And I don't ever expect any cornerback or any slot cornerback to win every single matchup when you're going up against a guy who's got definite first round talent, which Luther Burden has. He's excellent after the catch too. So I think Luther Burden will get his, but I expect Jordan Hancock to win his fair share of battles as well. I think he's up for the challenge. I think he's kind of relishing the opportunity to show people that he can be a sticky coverage guy against a receiver like that. Because I think a lot of what he's done for Ohio State has been more run-centric, maybe playing some zone coverage. This will require a little bit more than that. And I think in the midst of all that, Jordan's going to get his hands on a few footballs, and one of them will be an interception return for a touchdown.
I thought that was really interesting when Drinkwitz said that. That was in his opening statement. He could have talked about any part about Ohio State's roster, any of the star players. He said, it's that nickel. That's the guy that they singled out. I immediately thought the same thing you did. That was really fascinating that he singled out Jordan Hancock like that.
It was. My first BP for the CB will be, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I'm fascinated to go on the journey with you.
There are a lot of dudes on this Ohio State roster that have some decisions to make about their future in the NFL. I think, as we talked about it throughout the month, we've come to a relative consensus, I think, that most of these players are going to return to Ohio State for the 2024, even if it's not been official. Don't hold us to it. But I don't think Michael Hall is going to. I think Michael Hall, and I've said it before, is on a Jerome Baker type journey where maybe he's a guy that you think should come back and probably would benefit from coming back, but his traits are going to really be liked by the NFL folks. And I think this will be a swan song for him that is memorable. I think we're going to see 2 sacks from Michael Hall and 4 tackles for loss. Missouri and the running back Cody Schrader, they like to run the ball straight up the middle. If you can get that interior penetration that Michael Hall and Tyleik Williams are going to have to do for Ohio State to win this game, I think Mike Hall is on his way to having a big final game and a send-off game, as he will take a shot to the NFL. Maybe he's going to be a 4th-round pick, but he's going to be a guy that makes a lot of money in the NFL, and I think it will be on full display on Friday night. So I think it sucks when you talk about guys like that, kind of, because we never really got to see the full complement of his talents, but the NFL is going to reap the reward, and he's going to have a good future.
They'll probably just watch those 7 snaps against Michigan State a year and a half ago on repeat, and that'll vault him up the draft boards. You hope if that's the decision he makes, that he does get to go out on that high note berm. That's the opportunity that's waiting in the stadium on Friday night for Ohio State. This seems counterintuitive in my brain, because we talked about the running back depth chart being so depleted with Mayan Williams injured, off to the NFL, Chip Trayanum at Kentucky, Evan Pryor at Cincinnati, everybody leaving, and just having the 2 healthy scholarship running backs. You wouldn't necessarily think, well, Travion's coming back for this one, maybe for 2024, give him 30 carries. Or, Devin Brown in your first start, you're going to go run it 15 times, because that's some of the stuff that you've seen. Don't run stuff into the ground and try and throw. But I do think Ohio State is actually going to do that hammering away. And I think that there's going to be 50 rushing attempts for Ohio State in this game. Travion Henderson, Devin Brown, and Dallin Hayden. And I think they're going to go over 250 rushing yards, and Travion will score a rushing touchdown and Devin Brown will score a rushing touchdown. How many bold predictions was that? I don't know. But it's going to be heavy on the running game.
50 carries.
50 carries.
By the time this airs, I will have had you go back and research the last time that actually happened for Ohio State football.
They don't call them bold P's for nothing.
And we will talk about it on the pregame keys, because that's bold.
Well,
yeah,
I believe I've been criticized on this show
I'm
for
proud
not
of
putting
you.
the spice in the pepper.
New year, new year, new you. I get it. I'm proud of you.
I think too, like you factor scrambles into that. I think, right?
Yeah,
Which is
rushing
not-
attempts, not necessarily called, because I think that Devin Brown will also, if we see some of the improvisation, maybe take a yard or two and it'll go down the books that way.
Yeah, I think he will too. And this is a little bit of a piggyback off of that, I guess. And it feels bold to me, I guess, only because like we've just not seen Devin Brown play a lot. Like had he played full games, maybe it wouldn't be bold to say that he's going to have 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. But I think he will. It's ironic, I guess, to me that there's a lot of conversation about Ohio State's red zone offense for much of the season, and then like the last 3 games, they were awesome at it. Like including against Michigan, the red zone offense was very good. So I think that will continue in this game, and a part of that will be it's not a package anymore. It's just Devin Brown's a starting quarterback, and he's going to run the ball down there. It's also because Devin Brown needs some polish still as a passer, and I think that will come as he continues to develop. And part of that, I think, will need to be improving on like touch passes and a lot of the things he's doing. You're trying to throw the ball in the red zone, but in the meantime, I think he can just run them down there. So I agree with you that I think Ohio State is going to run the ball fairly often in this game, and I think they're going to finish off a couple of drives with a pair of Devin Brown rushing touchdowns.
I'm not saying I don't think Ohio State's going to rush the ball frequently. I'm just saying 50 is a large number.
It is just like sort of generally.
Yeah, like that's a. I mean,
Yeah, it's like
50.
kind of the
if
number
Ohio
of
State's
shout.
had 50 plays in a game this year, we've been celebrating it. So I have a rushing rule prediction, but now it feels like I'm piggybacking off of you. But I'm
Do
not.
it.
I think that
It's a piggyback off a piggyback.
Haven't you always been co-opting?
It's a double back piggy. I think Travion Henderson and Dallin Hayden are both going to run for 100 yards in this game.
Okay.
And I think maybe 12, 13 carries a piece. I think this is a split the load type of game because one way or another, you're not going to send Travion out there to get hit 30 times. And I think that he will be a very big part of the passing game for Devin Brown when you're looking for those outlets. Missouri's going to blitz the heck out of Devin Brown because that's what you do to a first-time starting quarterback. So I think the impact for Travion may be more felt in the passing game, but I still think 100 yards. Let me revise. 100 total yards for both Dallin Hayden and Travion Henderson.
Got to see some of that screen game.
Yeah.
I like that better. Yeah. Okay.
I think that would be more effective.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that as well. Just in general, anytime Ryan Day bringing back some of those screens. I don't know where they disappear to.
No, I thought we were going to see like a bunch of it against Penn State, but I guess like Travion wasn't available for that game, and I don't know.
The only time they tried to do it was to chip on the weird rollouts and fourth downs and
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of it. Yeah, we need more of it. Bring back the screen.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I believe Jack Sawyer over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks of the regular season became the version that we had long been wanting to see. Earlier in the week, he was available, and I sort of asked him about it. It's like, hey, September, was it things that they were asking you to do that didn't allow you to be as aggressive? Did you find something that was different? How did the production change? How did you feel like your game changed? And he was like, that's a difficult thing for him to answer at this point, and maybe even to be totally honest about all of it, he wouldn't want to do some of that publicly. But I've talked to him in other settings where it's like things have clicked into gear, and it didn't quite get him to the point where he could say, absolutely, definitely going pro, I'm a first-round pick. Like, that hasn't happened yet. And I think that he has, as you said, more than likely will be returning next year, embraced that there's still room for him to grow. And he has been the most vocal about this being an opportunity for a significant game and a springboard. So that's for him, and that's for Ohio State into 2024. And I think that he's going to back that up. And I think he's going to have 3 sacks in this game.
Whoa!
A triple ding-dong.
Cool.
How many does he have on the year?
I think 3.
3 or 4. It's a double-up situation.
It was interesting to me. Jim Knowles in his press conference on Tuesday was asked about Jack Sawyer, and I think in the past he's like talked a lot about Jack's run defense, but the first thing he said was like he's a good pressure guy, which like I don't think is the first thing that I would say about Jack, but like it makes me want to maybe go back and like watch the last couple of games
if
to
you
see
watch
like, if
the
he's
last
taking
month, Jack Sawyer
he's been
very good.
He's been. I agree. He's played very well, but I don't. My thought process on that is like he's played really well against the run. It makes me want to go back and watch some passing.
Don't watch the last month because there were no games. Watch the last 4 games.
Oh, sorry, the month before the month.
Yeah, watch the last 4 games they played.
Yeah, that's a great
And he
point.
was very good.
Yeah, he might have been good in the last month.
We
too.
don't know.
We don't know. There's no tape.
Wasn't on TV.
he's been more disruptive, and I think we talked about that with JT and Jack both in September. It's like, are they allowed to rush the passer? Like, what's going on? Remember, there was like no individual wins in the Youngstown State game. Like, this is super weird.
The pass rush win rate in the Youngstown State, and I have to say it slow, so I say the word correctly, against Youngstown State was terrible. And that was in FCS tackles.
Yeah, and it got much better as the season went on. So anyway, I think Jack Sawyer is going to have a big game.
I agree. I like Jack Sawyer's game. He's played well.
Yeah.
Did you have a third bowl game?
I have a third one. I'm curious. Like, I think Jelani Thurman's going to score a touchdown.
Ooh.
Is that like insane? Is it insane to say that?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. So, like, I thought
But
it was...
hold nothing back. It's the last one of the year.
I thought it was weird that Cade Stover was like, yeah, I'm going to play, but probably not that much. So, and like, obviously they have G. Scott. Who,
but then Ryan Day sort of walked that back. Saying,
yeah,
like,
Ryan Day also wouldn't say that Marvin Harrison Jr. is
I'm going to take Cade's word over it.
Okay, fair.
I don't know what it's going to look like at the tight end position. Like, G. Scott will play a lot, obviously, if Cade does have his snaps cut into for whatever reason. But I kind of think they're going to, like, throw a little bit of a wrinkle out there in this game, and maybe that wrinkle is some red zone action for a player like Jelani Thurman. And maybe I'm just wish casting.
You're
speaking it into existence.
Correct, I think, but the answer to your assertion is Patrick Gerd. He's going to score a touchdown.
No.
Come
Jelani
on.
Thurman, dog.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying you're. I think you're on the right track. I just think that
Right idea, wrong guy.
Yeah, I think that Gerd is the third tight end in this.
Gerd's
setup.
the third.
Gerd the third.
But he's not like an inline tight end. He's like in the backfield.
I mean, yeah, but where are they going to throw the ball to Jelani? At the 25, and he's going to pull those people?
Yes.
Should we buy
Are you
him a
kidding
bottle
me?
of Maker's Mark if Gerd scores a touchdown?
Okay, we'll put a bottle of Maker's Mark on the line.
And if Jelani does, then I will
I like Maker's Mark. You can get me a bottle
get
of
you a
Maker's
bottle of
Mark.
Maker's Mark. We've got a deal. But I agree that the tight end is going to be important in this game because it's been important to Ohio State all year, and you got a first-time quarterback. There's those little outlet routes are important. Well, hot route.
Red 7.
Red 7.
What were we doing?
That's a bold prediction.
You just made one that Patrick Gerd's
What
going to
day
score.
is it?
It's Friday.
Freaky
There's
Friday.
going to be a game in here tonight.
Freaky Friday. My final bold prediction for the season is that Emeka Egbuka is going to score 3 touchdowns.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe one of them is on an end around, a jet sweep.
I hope it's a
little
pop pass.
But I think that Emeka Egbuka, for the first time in his Ohio State career, is going to be the number one guy, the number one focus. Maybe Carnell Tate's going to have something to say about that like in a few months, but I think going into this, Egbuka is healthy. He's as fast as he's been all year, we were told. I think he's going to be the guy. And 1, 2, 3 touchdowns for Emeka Egbuka as Ohio State wins 28-24.
All receiving?
Maybe not. I mean, like I said, it could be an end around or a pop pass. It could be an end around or a pop pass on one of them. I could see it from like the
Drill down,
11-yard
that's
line.
the last one of the year.
You know, like the 11-yard line, they do that little end around.
This man used to give it one of those.
Yeah, I'm into the idea. It could even be a punt return. I don't know. He's going to score 3 touchdowns.
I bet you it's not a punt return.
I'm just saying anything is
I
possible.
would wager.
I bet you a bottle of Maker's Mark. That's not
If
punt
you
return.
just believe it, you can achieve it.
That's true. That's true.
I think
Also, during our super special teams periods on Wednesday, it was Jaden Ballard and Brandon Ennis.
I think that this is going to set up Emeka Egbuka for the 2024 season to have a truly special final year at Ohio State, and it starts on this field tonight.
He wrapped a bold prediction about Emeka coming back in there.
Yeah.
You notice that? Yeah.
I mean, we think we believe that's going to happen. So let's just call it what it is, mans.
Maybe he'll actually get the people at the Cotton Bowl to learn how to pronounce his name with this breakout
They
performance.
struggle.
Emeka Egbuka.
Emeka Egbuka.
I understand it's not the world's easiest last name to look at and pronounce because you could be like Egbuka or whatever.
But that would be closer.
To be like Egbuku did not make any sense.
And he called him Emeka.
Well,
Is there an extra E in there that I'm missing? Have I been spelling his name wrong?
no.
I know I haven't. Special teams.
I want people to celebrate the heck out of guys like Emeka
That's
Egbuka.
interesting.
That's what I
Yeah.
want. I want people to celebrate players like that. If he returns to Ohio State like we all think he's going to at this point, celebrate that. Like, you should be thrilled that players who are the number one player at wide receiver 3 years ago and a guy who is a borderline first-round pick right now, it says, I want more. And that's great. That's what, in this, people want to complain so much about college football and all the bad changes. Like, when these good stories happen, you should really lean into them and love on those people. ELE.
You were going to pick someone to return a punt?
Something about special teams. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ohio State's bad at that. Luther Burden is taking a punt back for a touchdown in this game. You can take that to the bank. If you're back in Ohio
Were
watching
you with us when we were talking about this yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, because
okay, so you were
just not only
you were around.
We were watching.
We were talking about it, and I didn't know you were around.
Well, then
us.
I looked it up because we were having. Well, I was, we worked together and we had this conversation. We're like, hey, does Luther Burden actually return punts for Missouri? And I'm like, yeah, he does. He's only done it 7 times this year, which was surprising. They've only had 7 punt returns for the entire year, according to their stat book for the season.
Can't trust those stat books, especially in Missouri.
He has a long of 17, so it's not like this has been a key part of Missouri's arsenal is being dangerous on punt returns. But Ohio State is bad at punting. Mm-hmm. They're bad at covering. Mm-hmm. They're bad at executing.
Missing most of their players on special teams too.
They've had very poor communication from the special teams coordinator, and Luther Burden is a freaky athlete. I think that's 5 good reasons to maybe look at your local book and see if you can get a Missouri defense or special teams touchdown. Or Luther Burden, and maybe parlay them together.
Do one of these.
One of those.
Yeah, I like that. No, that's good. That's a good play. I think that's possible, if not likely.
Anyway.
I'm being positive. I think Luther Burden is going to return 0 punts.
Wow.
Because Ohio State's not going to punt.
Oh.
That's wild.
What's your score?
28-24. They're going to be 7
They're not going to punt, but they're only going to score 4
that don't go their way.
I don't think Berm's bold peas add up to that score.
I only said 3 touchdowns.
Emeka's going to have 3?
That's the only thing I said. I said 100 yards for the other guys, and 2
both their running backs are going to have 100 combined yards.
Yeah.
Emeka's going to score 3 touchdowns.
And Michael Hall.
And Patrick Gird's going to score a touchdown, you said.
That's the 4th touchdown.
Okay, and Mike Hall's going to have 3 sacks.
Yeah, 2 sacks. That's what I said. He said
2 sacks. 3 sacks. Okay, got it.
And a bottle of Makers.
That's a guarantee. All right. Wherever you are enjoying the game, whether that's down here in Texas, back in Ohio, or anywhere
Plenty of
across
tickets are
America,
available.
there are a lot of tickets. If you want to come, hang out, and watch the Cotton Bowl in person, you certainly can. But we hope you enjoy it. It's the last opportunity to watch the Buckeyes in 2023. That's tonight at AT&T Stadium against Missouri. Thanks for joining us on the podcast daily for Freaky Friday and some bold peas. Bill Landis, Jeremy Birmingham, I'm Austin Ward. We'll talk to you later back in this place at Jerry World for the Cotton Bowl.